Hey everyone, welcome back. This is going to be a Magic the Gathering deck tech. So I haven't done one of these for a while, I think since the Hour of Devastation standard Mill Sanity deck that I did. And so I'll go ahead and give updates on that deck and the progress of that deck, which is already done. Competed last week in last week's Friday Night Magic at my local LGS. Took a top 4 spot, won myself some nice prizes. That was pretty fun, but also very very anxious games. There's a lot of, it was surprisingly stressful and high anxiety playing a mill deck. You're so vulnerable to the current meta, which is a ton of mono red aggro. So I played a variant, which I didn't publish before on Tapped Out, but I'll have to update that. I played a blue-white variant, but that kind of led me to do this week's deck tech, which is a deck that I first got back into Standard with back right after Amonkhet came out, and that was the red-green Pummler deck. So for those who have not known or who aren't familiar with this deck, because it isn't a very common deck to see in Standard, right? Because you see a lot more familiar decks like mono red aggro, mono black zombies. You see black green constrictor and all the variants. Blue red control. You see blue white monument now, and then the various other Mardu vehicles. I see a couple of those, and then just some various brews that are pretty typical at the LGS I go to with my son. And the very first Friday Night Magic I competed in with the Pummler deck, I recall taking top 4, might have been 3rd or 4th place, can't remember. And I was pretty happy because at the time my deck was $50 to $60, which was awesome because it didn't cost me, $200 to $400 to get back into Standard. It was just kind of me being a little bit skeptical, or me just being a little bit iffy on whether or not I wanted to compete in Standard again. So anyhow, fast forward to today, and I got into a habit of brewing and crafting a bunch of decks for Friday night. Typically, on my free time, if I'm not covering Coralfall content on this channel, as some of you know, I play Magic with my son. It's just a really great pastime that I grew up with and that I'm kind of sharing with my son now. So he's 11 years old, and I'm taking him to Friday Night Magic, and we're kind of competing with each other, practicing, and sometimes competing against each other at Friday Night Magic, which is pretty interesting. But no, it's a great experience. And so anyhow, back to Hour of Devastation Standard. Since I started, I built my red-green Pummler. I always keep my decks together unless rotation just completely wrecks it, but fortunately I've built decks that are easy to adjust for rotation, things like that. Then after my red-green Pummler deck, I built a mono-white tokens deck. Took first a couple times with that deck at the same LGS that we always go to. That was fantastic, super fun deck. Then after that, I built a black-green Constrictor, which was by far my most expensive deck. Just the cards in there are just in such high demand and just played across so many platforms. And I think after that, then I brewed my milling deck. So that was my latest deck that I've brewed, was my mill deck. And now we're back full circle to red-green Pummler. I wanted to revisit Pummler because I remember how fun it was. And it's just, I don't know, there's very few moments in FNM that are better than being able to send a 20 plus trampler at your opponent, or even sending a gigantic 15 to 20 power Pummler over and then flinging it at your opponent for lethal, right? So fulfilling when you get a chance to do that. So I wanted to revisit that, and I think it's a pretty good contrast to my mill deck, which requires a lot of patient control, kind of slower pace gameplay, and really figuratively and quite literally milling and grinding, a very grindy game, and milling their deck. So this one's going to be a little bit more fast-paced. It's one of those decks where, you know, I either win fairly quickly or I lose fairly quickly, and I know just how that goes. It's just a lot of on the play aggression, and then on the draw mid-range, right? So here's just my current version. I'm going to go ahead, and I've already started listing out my deck, my current deck. We're going to take a look at what that looks like, and then I'm going to go ahead and make the adjustments live with some updates based on the meta, the competition, the current card set, and some minor tweaks, things I'm switching out in favor of other new cards. So let's take a look at what we have. I'm going to quickly just list off what I have, and you guys can kind of view this. I'll go ahead and link that deck list in my description in case you want to link to it and want to leave comments. You're more than welcome to do that. But currently my main board for creatures, I'm listing off creatures, then spells, then we're going to go ahead and do lands last. But I have Bristling Hydra, 4 Servant of the Conduit, 2 Bristling Hydra, 4 Servant of the Conduit, 4 Long Tusk Cub, 4 Voltaic Brawlers, 4 Electrostatic Pummelers, 1 Ronus the Indomitable, 1 Lathnu Hellion, 4 Blossoming Defense, 2 Larger Than Life, 3 Fling, 2 Invigorated Rampage, 2 Harness Lightning, and I need to add a Tune with Ethers. I play 4 of those. Let me see, what do I have? After a Tune with Ethers, what do we have? So let's go ahead and add the lands now. I think that's pretty much it for spells, right? Let's see if I missed anything bigger on page. Oh, I play 1 copy of geez, what is that red deck? I think it's, let me see if I can find it. Rage. Undying Rage. Let me see. Invigorated Rampage. Nope. It might. I think it might be an Fit of Rage. I think. Probably wrong, but let me verify that real quick. I apologize. Anyways, it's the one that's +2/+1 and trample. We'll figure it out. I'm gonna swap that out anyways. I think it's rush or something. Rush of adrenaline. That might be it. Let's take a look. I think it might be rush of adrenaline. That sounds a little bit more accurate. Yeah, not fit of rage. What am I thinking? Then we go to lands. Now I'm currently playing Aether hubs. Four, and then I'm playing, what is it? Game Trail, that's what it is. Playing 4 of those. I know I want to play Sheltered Thickets because I have those on the way. So let's add that in. That's the Bicycle Lands Sheltered Thicket 4. And then let's count how many cards we have. We have 2, 6, 10, 14, 18, 19, 20, 24, 26, 29, 31, 33, 37, 38, 42, 46, 50. And then we've got 6 and 4, I believe. Right? 6 forest. And then mountain. Okay, so I believe that's 60. Featured card is Electrostatic Pummler. Hubs. This is Pummler. Energy. It's an energy deck. Aggro. Competitive. Is a prototype. Color splash colors. Okay. And let's save. So this is what we currently have. 22 lands I play. Currently there's 6 mountains and 8 forests, I believe, because I know we're playing Game Trail. Just Game Trail and Aether Hub. I don't play any Sheltered Thickets yet, but I plan on inserting 4 Sheltered Thickets and reducing the amount of basics, which is fine. I currently only played 2 Bristling Hydras, but I'm thinking of modifying that to be 4. I'm seeing, especially with mono red being a bigger thing, Bristling Hydras are just really hard for mono red to deal with. So I'm thinking about dropping those, and Electrostatic Pummler is of course playing 4. Lathnu Hellion's most likely going to come out. I have 1 Glorybringer. I'm going to try to acquire my second one, but probably swapping out the Lathnu Hellion in favor of the Glorybringer, or at the very least sideboarding it. I only run 1 Ronus, but I am actually even considering taking out the Hellion and Ronus in favor of the 4th Bristling Hydra, and just making it a little bit more manageable, I guess. Right now the curve works out pretty well for me because these are 3 drops that I need, but I also have my electrostatic pummeler, so I've got a lot of 3 drops, and I don't know if I need that many 3 drops. So what we'll do is we'll have, you know, the 3 drop, the 4 drop, and then a couple 2 drops here, which is fine, and then we're gonna go ahead and have maybe take out, you know, 1 servant of the conduit for a glory bringer. Not quite sure if I want to main deck 1 or just sideboard it, and switch to more, take the Ronus and the glory bringer, switch that out to sideboard and make it more of like a mid-range. Yeah, make it more of a mid-rangey deck for the servant of the conduits, like take those out on the play maybe, or take out the electrostatic pummelers and then add in, you know, currently I have 2 bristling hydras in my sideboard, but I'm thinking of main decking those and then taking in the, yeah, sideboarding the Lathnu and the Ronus. Lathnu Hellion's pretty sweet because it swings the turn it gets in. It's a little bit more mid-range for us, which is nice because I don't have the 2 glory bringers, and if I don't main deck a glory bringer, which I'm kind of debating on whether or not I want to main deck some, whether or not I want to main deck a glory bringer or not. It's kind of up in the air. I'm not quite sure yet. Glory bringer is really good, but I'm not quite sure if it's fast enough. I'm not quite sure it's fast enough to deal with mono red, but we will see. So in terms of instances, I have a playset of a Braids coming in. I think I'm going to main deck two, which means I'll have to get rid of, oh, the larger than life. Get rid of these in favor of Invigorated Rampages, get rid of 1 Fling and 1 Rush of Adrenaline. That'll give me 2 slots, right? 2 slots for a Braid, so I might main deck 2 Braids. And then I'll play 21 lands instead. That'll give me 1 extra slot. So I could probably move that extra slot as a Glory Bringer. Because I'm thinking Attune with Ethers is plenty. I always end up with more than enough lands. So I'm thinking maybe I play 21 lands with, you know, 4 Attune with Ethers, and 4 Servant of the Conduits for mana fixing anyways. So I don't know. I don't know that I need 22 lands. I think that might be excessive. So I'm gonna go ahead and update that right now. So let's go ahead and main deck the 4 Bristling Hydra. We're gonna reduce the Fling to 2, right? We're gonna add in Glory Bringer 1. What do we get rid of? This has got to be 4. Larger than life we got rid of. That could probably go in our sideboard. I see a lot of people kind of sideboarding larger than life, and I wonder if that is for more of, and I don't know, is it for like decks that don't have direct removal for my Pummeler? Just kind of boarding that in for more aggressive, quicker kill time. That's what I'm still trying to understand. Yeah, that's what I'm still trying to understand. So, yeah, I guess I'll see. I think we'll go down. We don't need a whole lot of. Maybe we'll play 5 Forest, right? Yeah, I think that's fair. We don't have, yeah, since we're playing a double red, but we're playing double green also. We got a lot of dual lands in here, which is fine. And what else? Oh, Lathnu Hellion can come out. Okay. Ronus can come out. The main deck. So those two will go in the sideboard. Let's see, what else do we got? Blossoming Defense, Attuned Ether, Aether Hub, Invigorated Rampage, Rush of Adrenaline I was removing, right? That's right, we need to add a Braid. 2 copies I think I'm playing. And then maybe sideboarding 2 more. Yeah, so let's see what this looks like. Okay, so 21, 25, 39, that's 60, perfect. 4 Bristling Hydra, 4 Electrostatic Pummeler, 1 Glorybringer, 4 Long Tusk Cub, 4 Servant of the Conduit, okay, Brawler. Braid deals 3 damage to target creature or destroy target artifact. I need to see, maybe for my sideboard I need to see what the answer for, you know, red black aggro and mono red aggro are gonna be pretty popular at FNM, so I need to definitely prepare for that meta. So I wonder if the Abrades are wise, or if I should be main decking my Magma Sprays, because I don't think, you know, I'm thinking, yeah, that'd be great for black-green Constrictor, which there are a couple variants at my LGS, and then there's also the possibility of Mardu Vehicles or Monument, which is a solid, you know, those are solid decks still. So I still need to prepare for Artifact Hate, but I don't know if I play at their pace, play reactive, or if I'm playing more proactive, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I think if I'm playing more proactive, you would think, oh, maybe a Braid is the correct move. And it's just 2, so okay. Yeah, I went down from 3 fling to 2 fling so that we're not, there have been a couple games where I've just been sitting on a couple flings, and that doesn't do me any good until I'm ready to set off a chain of, you know, pump spells. So let me see, I think this is a pretty good list. And now let's prepare the sideboard, right? So what do we have for sideboard? And I'm just going off of cards that I have available. Sideboards should be, you know, preparation for your local environment or your play environment. It shouldn't be, you know, don't just pull the sideboard off of some net deck and think that that's going to work for you as well, because their meta is probably different than your meta for your LGS versus like a Pro Tour or Grand Prix, something like that. You know, in general, the rule is sideboard for the decks you will be encountering most likely. Probably the best practice. So that being said, I know that mono red or aggro decks in general, whether it's red black or mono red, they play a lot of creatures with haste. So we want to be able to remove these, these threats, whether those are, Bomat couriers or, Kenras or crushers, things like that. So for my sideboard, I am doing some Abrade. Right, I have an extra playset of Abrades for Mardu vehicles, Monument, Gear Hulks, even Constrictor, because the 2/3 body and the Constrictor is gonna give us some trouble if we don't prepare for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and add 2 magma sprays. Magma spray. I have 3. Chandra's Defeat. I have 2. Now I have Ronus. Let's go to mid-range, right? We have 1. I have my Lath New Hellion. This is my 3-drop. We're taking out Pummlers. I usually drop my 4 Pummlers on my second matchup to switch it up so that their artifact hate is useless. So we have 5, 7, we have 9. I have 8 more cards available to me. I have Aether Sphere Harvesters. I believe I have 1. I believe I have 1 currently. And then this is Larger Than Life, right? Larger Than Life, we can board 2. So that's 10, 12. I need 3 more cards. What am I missing? Oh, Natural Obsolescence. I think, oh no, Natural Obsolescence is being replaced by a Braid, sorry. That's the artifact hate that I have that'll be replaced by a Braid. I feel like I'm missing something. I do have a playset of Magma Sprays, so I could increase that to 4 if I really wanted to, and then maybe increase Harness Lightning as well, right? If I really wanted to play like a mid-rangey deck against any other matchup that doesn't require the Chandra's Defeat. So let's see, I would board out my Pummlers, and then maybe that would give me 4 slots for sure. And okay, I guess we would play with that. Attune with Ether. Let's take a look. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, Sweltering Suns. Okay. I have a copy of Sweltering Suns. One copy. Okay, let's count it again. 5, 7, 10, 13. I have 2 slots. I could get Prowling Serpoplads, but I have Bestiary. Lifecrafter's Bestiary. I have 2 of them for control. That's currently what I have. I could be playing Prowling Serpopods. Not sure that I want to though. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I think the draw engine is really useful. Yeah, some people say, I could play more Larger Than Life. Yeah, I don't know if Sweltering Suns is necessary. I could swap out a Sweltering Suns for an extra Harness Lightning. And the last New Hellion, maybe? Yeah, I could remove the last New Hellion altogether. That takes up energy. So if I get rid of the last New Hellion, now I have 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then I have 1 for Harness Lightning. I could remove this and then do 2 more Harness Lightning. Alright, I could, but I don't really feel like I need the Harness Lightning. I feel like last New Hellion kind of, it's something I have, and I don't feel like going out and buying many new cards. A lot of these cards I either had or acquired as an individual for maybe another deck, but I believe this is pretty good. Maybe boards. This is going to be things like Glorybringer, 1 more Glorybringer, maybe another Ronus, not quite sure. Just to switch up to that mid-rangey, and maybe Harness Lightning versus some of the other removal options that I have in my sideboard. A lot of these maybe boards, maybe options are would replace. I think my main deck build is pretty solid right now. I haven't found any reason to switch it up, so I feel like this is a pretty good spot to be at. So let's take a look, right? Yeah, I think this is a pretty good. I think this is pretty good. It's $100 off of TCG Player only because I threw in, this Glorybringer in here, this Ronus is in here on my sideboard, and then these, obviously, you take out the 2 Ronuses, that's 25 bucks, 30, 35. You subtract 35 bucks from 100 and you're at 65, right? It seems, I mean, that's pretty reasonable for a competitive, tier 1 deck in standard right now. And really, if you can't do Abrades, there are cheaper alternatives to Abrades too. There's plenty of removal, right? I have Artifact Hate in my sideboard. That's not Abrade, but Abrade is just a little bit more versatile main decking. That way I don't have to rely on sideboarding to be more reactive and take the loss to things like Verdurous Gearhulks or Monument, especially. A lot of those really quick go wide strategies could give me some problems. The Mardu Vehicles, right, is so quick still and very consistent enough with their artifacts. It's just something I'm considering. But yeah, I think this is it. I think this is the current deck that the deck list I'm gonna roll with this Friday. It's not too different. I normally, you know, instead of the Hellion and Ronus main decking, I'm taking those out, putting 2 Bristling Hydras in, which used to sit in my sideboard, but now I'm main decking 4 instead. I swapped between 3 and 4 Servant of the Conduits for a really long time, but I mean, 4 doesn't hurt. It's not as noticeable to me, honestly. If I got another, if I ended up liking Glorybringer and I ended up, you know, I'm able to trade for a Glorybringer. I may remove 1 Servant of the Conduit either for another Glorybringer. Yeah, maybe main deck another Glorybringer and then play 3 Servant of the Conduits. That would be fine. And then if I can acquire a Chandra, you know, for my sideboard, I would probably just replace my Sweltering Suns with a Chandra. To be completely honest with you, Sweltering Suns I feel like was fine before I was able to get enough removal. Now with Chandra's defeat, I mean, this is just great removal for, you know, against mono red aggro. So I think that's completely fine. I'm even tempted to play even more. You know, mono red hate, because Chandra's defeat is such a good card, but against Bomat Couriers and things like that, you want to make sure that you have your Magma Sprays on hand and good to go for that removal. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my deck, guys. Go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and add this deck list to the description here. Let's take a look here. I'm gonna go ahead and copy that for you guys, and we're gonna go ahead and add that to the description for you guys, and we should be good to go. There you guys go. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Let me know if you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns. Drop that in the comment section below. Otherwise, go ahead and visit my tapped out deck list. You can order off of TCG Player. Like I said, you know, there are ways to make this pretty budget friendly. You know, swapping out, you know, the flavor of the month cards like Glorybringers and you know, Ronuses are solid cards, but you know, are they absolutely necessary for the success of the deck? No. Your key pieces in this deck are just pennies, you know, or just, you know, $1 or so. Electrostatic Pummeler, right? Your Voltaic Brawlers, your Servants, Cubs, these are all just cheap. I mean, you could build the core of this deck for close to $50 if you really wanted to. Your lands are another big area of, you know, money sinks. Like $3 a piece for these. You can choose to run, and I'm intentionally choosing not to run the deserts, the pain deserts. I just don't like the pace. I don't know. I don't find them valuable, and I find that like taking a ping against mono red aggro is a little bit more detrimental currently, especially with everybody playing ping deserts, things like that. I really don't want to be pinging myself, even if I get the extra +3/+3. I feel like my Electrostatic Pummeler deck just so happens to be, you know, if I have a pump spell or 2 in my hand with 6 energy, I mean, that's most of the time, 90% of the time, that's a game anyways for them. It's just so explosive that if they don't deal with the Pummeler, it's usually pretty much GG on the spot. So I'm not too worried about the extra +3/+3 from the desert. I welcome, you know, any suggestions you guys might have. Any feedback, comments, concerns, or any experiences you guys might have, any suggestions you might have if you played this deck, if you played against it, what do you like, don't like, or go ahead and drop any other comments down below. All right, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.